now it didn't crack. That was completely sideways off the throttle.
Did about 45 laps.
You can run. That's what my thing's telling me. Oh no, you're right. Mine's telling me I need 46 more gallons to run the race. So, yeah, 34. So, you can do stage 2 right on the money. Stage 1, 5 laps.
Hello everybody and welcome in to the Manny Ray's NOMA Truck Series live tonight with the first race in the round of 8. We are live from Chicagoland Speedway with a good one in store for you here tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You are watching Austin Green on PGR Esports.
Really
qualifying is complete. Drivers are gridded up and getting ready to roll. So before we get any further, let's get right down trackside and get into tonight's starting grid. Matthew Fritz takes the pole for NOMA Motorsports. Big opportunity for the 29 here tonight. If he can find victory lane, will give himself a great shot at advancing to the championship 4. Jake Bustow is going to start to his outside in second. Not a playoff driver. Zach Stevens, one of the NOMA Motorsports drivers, but also no longer in the playoff picture. Grant Turner will start back from the 4th spot here tonight, and then it's going to be another pair of playoff drivers, Chase Greer alongside David Traylor. Those two in row number 3. Justin Parham to the inside of row 4. Jay Stinson to his outside. And again, those are 2 more of your round of 8 playoff drivers. Keith Prince, a round of 8 playoff driver. He will start in 10th. And to his inside, I should have said first, is Joey Hickox, who will start in 9th. Jonathan Herbert, he'll roll off from the 11th spot with Sam Boutwell to his outside in 12th. Moving on back to row number 7. Final truck in the field tonight is going to be Corey Buskirk as he will start from 13th. Taking a look at your race info. And is a little bit of just a little bit out of date. We changed the title of the race last minute. Last week, of course, was the Blue Ridge Auto Group action. This week, it's the M&M Pet Sitting 145 from Chicagoland Speedway. Everything else, though, that you see on that race info is correct. 145 laps going to be the distance here tonight. 75% fuel as always with 5 sets of tires in the pits, and I believe that also includes the one that you start this race on. 1 fast pair fixed setups, and we'll have 2 stages. First one at the end of lap 40, second at the end of lap 75. 3 green light checkers. Chicagoland Speedway just over a mile and a half in total distance, and track temp well under 100 degrees. That means this track's going to have a lot of grip. It's going to be fast, and it is a great way to kick off the mile and a half stretch that we have to finish off the season. Here we go. Green flag is in the air. We are racing in the round of 8. Down the backstretch now for the first time here tonight. Away with the lead is the 74 of Jake Bustos. He leads over the 29 of Matthew Fritz. And then everybody else on back is still scattering to try to figure out what positions they want to run in here. As you know, this is what's going to be so fun about this track. And it almost races kind of like a mini Michigan, at least in my eyes. I mean, it's a mile and a half, but man, there's just so much throttle time with these trucks. They have a lot of horsepower, but they also have a lot of downforce. Whoa, big moment for David Traylor. Did he hold on? He did, but a 54 is going to lose all sorts of momentum. Man, was that close for David Traylor to go around. He's still getting split 3 wide. There goes the 87 of Herbert to his inside. And man, that, this was something we were going to get to in due time. I wanted to click off a couple laps first, but looking back, I probably should have mentioned it first because it's the thing that affects drivers the most on restarts. So for David Traylor, let's watch here. As you're going to see kind of the first couple laps here, cold tires are still trying to get him up to 10. He's on the outside. We talk about a lot of throttle time, and man, really just kind of starts to snap on him out of nowhere. Really, really good heads-up piece of driving there from David Traylor to catch that truck before it went all the way around. A good job by the rest of the field to have the awareness to still keep it off the 54 truck. So
she's still wiggling around on you.
Here we go. Battle for the lead is on, and it may not be just 2, maybe 3. Grant Turner was trying to get to the inside of both of them, couldn't do it. As you can see, leading right now is the 74 Bustos. Looks like Matthew Fritz, though, may have a shot here on the outside if he can get the momentum. He can't get it just yet. The 29, though, is going to hold strong here. Down the back straightaway, Justin Parham, he has now been brought into this mix as well. So some of the things that I want to talk about, because this is going to establish the type of racing that we see here tonight. Let's first mention that all the drivers that we talked about that are fighting in round of 8 to advance to the championship 4, they're all highlighted in white. on your scoring tower there on the left of your screen. So there you see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're all up there. Right now, most of them clumped between 6th and 11th. But you do have Fritz, of course, leading the way, and Justin Parham 3rd. So those are currently the 2 highest running playoff round of 8 drivers. And it will also be on their driver cards here tonight. We'll show you a little bit about what that looks like. So here's how it works. Matthew Fritz, you see the P next to his name on both the scoring tower and his driver card. And it indicates down there that he did make it to the round of 8. Now let's say it's a driver who made it to the round of 16, not currently in the playoffs. Well, they're not going to be highlighted on the scoring tower. They won't have a P next to their name, and it will say the round that they were eliminated in. So for Zach Stevens, the round of 16, that's how far he made it into the playoffs before he was ultimately eliminated from advancing any further. Matthew Fritz still leading what has now become a bit of a single-file draft train here at Chicagoland. Further back, there is still some side-by-side as between 2 more of the NOMA Motorsports teammates. Hickok's trying to put the hammer down around the outside. He will. Stinson's going to see if he can maybe follow. And then there's Keith Prince in the 1 truck with David Traylor trying to recover. Just kind of regrouping. Again, Traylor knows he's got plenty of time. 2 stage breaks. I thought it was interesting because, Traylor, of course, got the win last week. And one of the things that he mentioned, and he said kind of the beauty, the perk, if you will, of stage racing is you really don't have to be the best truck in the first stage. Of course, you want to get stage points, so it certainly helps. But, worst case scenario, let's just say you don't get any practice coming into the race. Well, these 2 stage breaks really give you the opportunity to get some practice, learn the track through that first stage. Now you know what to work with, see what works best in terms of tire saving on that second stage. And then for the final stage, when the pay window starts to open up, that's when you've got all the speed, all the practice, and all the notes that you need to try to go up there and get after it. 2 NOMA Motorsports teammates. And I say NOMA Motorsports, I do need to make this a little bit clear. I apologize. Again, Asphalt Outlaws Racing, their teammates. And that's the NOMA Motorsports side of it. But it's actually Venom Racing over here in the NOMA Truck Series. And for Venom Racing, a couple of the drivers that are on NOMA Motorsports aren't actually on the team. So Parham is teammates with Matthew Fritz in the AOR Series. But here tonight, they are not teammates. Venom Racing is the team that the 29 of Fritz is on. And Justin Parham, of course, on the infamous Grandstand Racing, which has been so dominant over their time here in the NOMA Truck Series. Of course, with Renninger and Parham kind of being the two baseline veterans, if you will. And then this season, they picked up the addition of David Traylor. Can't forget about Sam Boutwell either in the 47, who was the teammate that they picked up last season. Both have been great additions to helping that team out. Corey Buskirk in the field here tonight, and the 998 machine. Got the W sponsor on the back. And I'll tell you what, for Buskirk here, he's trying to get a couple starts towards the end of the season, and hey, it's a good track to do it at. Because the racing here, especially on the short runs, is going to be a lot of fun, even if you're not the fastest truck on the racetrack. And so as we go back up now, we do have a couple onboard views here tonight. So we'll go ahead and start first. The man that's the furthest back of the driver cams, and that is David Traylor. We may not be saying that later tonight. I wouldn't be shocked if we're talking about him at the front, but right now for David Traylor, still a lot of work to do, sitting in 9th, down 3 from where he started. Again, he lost all those positions after that first couple lap incident, I guess I should say, the incident that happened within the first couple laps where he just got a little loose, going through 1 and 2, slipped up, and lost a whole bunch of momentum in positions as a result. Since has recovered, but you see right now it's just so hard to make a pass. He cuts the apron down here as he works through the front stretch, hoping to get to the inside. Does it work out? Not quite. Couldn't quite sneak to the inside of Chase Greer that time. And a little bit further up, here's Grant Turner. The 93 machine tonight, currently sitting in 3rd as he sees Fritz getting a little tight up ahead, and Grant Turner is carrying an onboard view for us here tonight for both the cockpit cam and the pedal cam. So for Grant Turner, you can see it right there. And he is using, not really any brake, but he is certainly having to use a little bit of throttle control. He'll have to use a lot more once these tires start to wear out, but it's still relatively wide open here. 13 of 145 laps, and take a look what happens here right there. Notice how he lets off just a little bit and then quickly hammer back down. So just trying to get the truck to kind of rotate and point itself, if you will. And enter to the corner to set yourself up for a lot of throttle time through the middle and on exit. And further display speeds that these guys are running here tonight in these trucks, which I talked about. It's been a little while now, but ever since iRacing got the new update, these trucks got a huge bump in horsepower, at least the way the gearing's set up, that, man, they run a lot faster on the high end of 4th gear now, especially at super speedways. But even here at these 1.5-mile, 2-mile ovals, such as Michigan, and then, like I said, 1.5-mile, such as the one we're at tonight, Chicagoland, we are running, well over 180 miles an hour at the top speed of each corner. And look at that for Justin Parham. Over 180, looked like he actually hit 181 there before he worked into turn 3. He's now on the high side of the racetrack. Let's see what he works with here as he gets towards turn 1. The front stretch a little bit longer. Now, he's not even in draft. You compare that to a guy like Matthew Fritz, who is. Fritz going to get even a little bit more speed here as he top out at about 183. Again, that is absolutely moving the Truck Series. All right, so 15 of 145 laps now in the books. See that Justin Parham has not been able to create a gap, at least not on Matthew Fritz yet. All right, Turner hanging around. He's chosen the inside, and really, I think what's going to determine who has the better tires at the end of a run here is going to be based off of who can save. Well, obviously it's who can save tire, but I guess I should say it's going to be who goes up to the top last. I personally think that's what it's going to be kind of a race of here tonight, because as soon as you go to the top, you're basically going up there because you feel like you don't have the speed to run the bottom anymore full throttle, so you decide to go to the top, which is great and all, but as soon as you go up there, you're going to start wearing those tires out a lot quicker than a driver who's able to continue rolling the bottom. So I think that could be an advantage here tonight. Fritz, though, setting up here for a pass. Could be the first lead change of the night. Actually, it wouldn't be the first, but it could be one of the first few we've seen here tonight. Turner rocking and rolling on the apron again down the front stretch, but not quite able to sneak to the inside of both of them. Guess who's moving through the field now? Look at that scoring pylon on the left of your screen. David Traylor. He is now up to the 5th position. So for Traylor, it was just going to be a matter of time really to begin with, but he seems to be moving his way forward a little bit quicker than some drivers were probably expecting after that early incident. Don't forget, first stage break here will be on lap 40. So we still got a ways to go, about halfway through stage number 1 here at Chicagoland. As we turn the cameras back a little bit further again, the 87 of Jonathan Herbert. A bit of a trio here, and for Herbert, one of the guys that maybe kind of flew under the radar of some in terms of making it to the round of 8, but he's had a really, really strong showing this entire season. We've already seen the finishes slowly but surely start to piece themselves together. For Herbert, the consistency has gotten him to this point. Let's see if it can continue to carry him a bit further. The hard part, though, is, man, it's just that transition. I mean, you think about it. You're going from 16 to 8 drivers. So you really got to be in the top, 8. So you still have some wiggle room to work with, but then you go from 8 to 4, and so then all of a sudden you got to be in the top 4, and that transition is so difficult. I'm telling you, I've had a chance to race in some of these leagues where that's the case, and it's just, like I said, getting to the round of 16, as long as you have a decent season, you're guaranteed that. A strong season, you're getting to the round of 8. But man, that transition to the round of 4 is just so difficult, because you've got to be perfect. I mean, when you've only got 3 races in a round, you really can't afford to make a mistake anytime, especially not if you got everybody else having a great run. And the reason I point that out is because for Jonathan Herbert, I talked about him flying under the radar to get into the round of 8, but he's going to have a lot of work to do to get to the round of 4. I think it's doable, but Herbert may need to try to find that first victory of the season to help his chances at it. We are now officially 20 of 145 laps through the M&M Pet Sitting 145 here at Chicagoland. Thank you to M&M Pet Sitting for the sponsorship that they continue to provide to NOMA. And we actually talk about this for anybody tuning in here tonight and wondering, the car count seems a little bit low. Yeah, you're right, it is. Now, granted, we are in the playoffs, so you expect it to drop off a bit, but the NOMA admins, they are aware of it. They know. And it's kind of part of the circumstances, the way things worked out this season, with, of course, the super speedway side of things temporarily shutting down. They'll try to regroup and reset that up a little bit here in the short future. But the big focus, and these are just some of the rumors I had. I'm not going to state anything officially here, because, of course, we don't know yet. But there's going to be a whole bunch of recruiting done over the offseason, and I mean a bunch. There's going to be a little mini-series that I believe I heard would be in the ARCA cars to, again, kind of help with that recruitment process. And you saw Grant Turner just brush the outside wall there coming off of 2, but that recruitment process going to get us back to what we saw a couple seasons ago. That time broadcasting the NOMA Truck Series, we have seen a change in field quite a bit, but one thing that we've always seen is a bunch of great racing, so as soon as you increase driver count, we're going to get to see even more of it. Either way, I think this season will round off relatively calm, with your playoff drivers being the ones that make the rest of the races, plus a handful more or so. But as I said, so they're going to do a lot of recruiting, and the other big thing, rumor if you will, that I was hearing is that they may be leaving the trucks, maybe switching to a different car, as long as it has been the NOMA Truck Series. It's just kind of a shift in iRacing right now. A lot of people are starting to go away from the trucks. I don't know if it's that new update and people just haven't liked them as much since, or it's just a popularity growing for the newer cars, but a lot of people seem to be favoring the next gen as of recent current Cup car. So we'll have to see if that's maybe the direction NOMA decides to head. Either way, looking forward to it. Should be an interesting off-season and gearing up for what will be a next great season once we get around to it. 24 of 145 laps now complete. Further back, Herbert thought he was going to look 3 wide here on Zach Stevens and Sam Boutwell. Doing though, he will follow Zach Stevens here around the 47. Stevens is going to get that position. He'll slide up. Got a bit loose though. That allowed Boutwell to catch, and Boutwell is going to go right back to the outside. How about that? Sam Boutwell not content to just ride around on the lax for now. He wants to see if he can continue to fight for that spot. Not going to get it. Ooh, man. 54, David Traylor looked like he had a pretty big slip up right there off of 2. So all of a sudden now these trucks starting to swing a little bit on the tight side, which is resulting in them getting loose. I'll show you what I mean by this. Watch Traylor on the high side here. Trying to run full throttle, but there's just not as much grip as there was, so in order to do that, the back end has to start to slide out, and when it does that, Traylor has to catch it. That's what costed him that momentum there, but he's still on the outside right now. This time it's on the outside of the 74 Bustos. Matthew Fritz, after being up front a bit earlier, must have wore those tires out as Traylor in the wall again. 54 showing a lot of aggression right now, and it is not quite panning out the way he would like it to. You can see that for Justin Parham, he might be kind of at that point here in the run where that clean air may keep him there as long as he can hold off the 93 of Grant Turner. Turner has been working this inside line now for quite a few laps, just trying anything to get the 19 to either make a mistake on the outside or potentially get a run, hold even, and get him in the next corner. If you're Grant Turner, at some point you know that you're going to run out of your stuff. The more you race him here, the more that those tires start to wear out. So Turner here is going to take another peek. This time, though, that's an interesting line. Turner really, really loose, but you saw what he just did there. And again, that's a very, very interesting line for Grant Turner. The reason I say that is because what you basically just saw right there is he's trying to run the high side, but he's trying to get down just a little bit lower. In fact, not that top seam, but the one just below it. And it gets a little bit loose over that seam on exit, but he's trying to get a little bit of clean air, at least on the left side nose of that race truck, to see if he can get a little bit more downforce into the corner and a little bit more speed on exit. Here comes the 2 of Jay Stinson, the 74 of Jake Bustos. These two saved a little bit of tire, contrary to what a lot of the front runners currently did at the start of the race. By doing that, they are now going to be able to try to pounce here in the late run. 2 of Stinson here. So we'll take another look to the outside, running as high as he can go. He should get a big run here. Now that Turner hits the wall, he will get a big run. Turner goes to go low. Jake Bustos is going to have to use the entire racetrack, maybe even a little bit more here to try to get around him. Remember, there is no boundary, so Jake Bustos going below that white line down the back straightaway. That was completely legal. No rule against it, as here we go. Pit stop from David Traylor. Looks like he's going to draw on a couple more. This was the other thing I wanted to mention, but I thought it was a little too early still, but I guess not. 75% fuel in these trucks. You figure, I would think on 100%, they may be able to make it 50 to 60. So 75%, I guess, could be right around this window. Either way, they're hitting here with about 10, 11 laps to go in the stage. So when they come back out, they'll have a lot of time. Mistakes continue for David Traylor right there as he overshot his box just a little bit, not much. Certainly still enough that it's going to cost him a little bit of time. We'll see, can he still get out in front of Joey Hickox here? The answer is yes, he can. And now will we see anybody else bring it down this time? Doesn't look like it. So Traylor will have some fresh tires. We'll see what he can do with them. As you now see the 93 of Grant Turner trying to get his nose to the inside. He is still dirt tracking that truck. You can see the front tires left, right. Just trying everything to keep it from sliding out from under him. Sooner or later, something's going to have to give up front here. We saw Justin Parham, by the way, he did pit. That's the one thing I did not mention on that last lap. Your leader, Justin Parham, did decide to pit. That's what handed the lead over here to Stinson and Turner. So he'll make his way out now. I wonder who else decides to pit. Well, it was the man who was just being scored your leader after the 19 pit. The 2 of Jay Stinson, he'll now bring it down with what is going to be just 9 laps to go here in the stage. And I'm curious, I mean, if you run it long enough, and man, Jay overshoots his box too. The drivers have had that issue here so far tonight. What I was getting ready to say is you start to wonder at some point, if you wait long enough, do you go in literally just try to take a splash of fuel? Actually, that may be what most drivers are doing here. I mean, 4 tires will cost you a lot of time, and I don't know if you have enough laps left in the stage here to really take full advantage of them. David Traylor, though, there he is, the 54. Can he find a way to get around the 2 here? He is the first truck on the pits, but without any tire strategy, may not necessarily matter all that much. As the current lap time for Data Trailer, 32.1. That last lap, compared to 32.3s, 32.2s, you compare that to a leader, it's about 0.2 of a second quicker. So again, no major advantage right now that would play a massive difference in the way things shape up. As there goes the one of Keith Prince to get his lap back. That is not for position. So now you wonder, can Grant Turner somehow make it to the end? I wouldn't think so. He's going to have to pit here sooner or later. We might actually see him bring it in this lap. If you're Grant Turner, I mean, again, you're not really interested so much in stage points. They don't do anything for you. All you're interested in is track position to set yourself up for the end of this race. It's like Matthew Fritz has brought it down for his first service of the night. He'll roll out of pits, has the advantage of that first pit stall after qualifying on the pole here tonight. So then, we talked about Grant Turner in the 93. Still, no pit stop yet. Who knows? Maybe he can make it to the end of the stage. Again, stage 1 is longer than stage 2 by, well, it's technically 5 laps, but when we actually get back to green flag racing, it'll be more so by about 10, at least 10 laps. And so here we go, Grant Turner slipping and sliding as he works onto the apron to try to woe it up for the pit entry, and he does. Looks like he's going to get a couple more followers here, excuse me. Sam Boutwell.
Keith pitted on lap 20. He split it in half.
Not. It's Jonathan Herbert in the 87, actually. Herbert deciding to bring it down here. And watch what these three take here. It's going to be very similar stuff, which again, we assume right now at least would be no tires. And just fill it up with fuel. Wow. Grant Turner jack up the right side of that truck. It looks like he did. So it may have been a 2-tire call here for Turner. Does he take 4? Wow. Grant Turner is going to take all 4. How about that? I did not see that call coming for Turner. That's going to easily cost him the lead. I don't think he'll have any shot at getting back there. And man, I almost think now if you're Grant Turner, now you have to stay, well, you don't have to stay out, but I almost wonder if you even take another set of tires here at the end of the stage. I just don't know if that was the right call for Grant Turner. We're going to have to see how it works out for him, but I think with how late he decided to pit, the best strategy would have been just take enough fuel, limp it around until you get to the stage, and ultimately you're going to be on the same tires as everybody else when we restart the second stage, but you'll have an extra set of tires compared to everybody else potentially, or at least the same number, but not anymore now that he's taken that set. And so when we cross the line this time, it'll be just 3 laps to go here in stage 1. Keith Prince currently being scored as your leader. I'm not sure exactly what the strategy play that the one car has going on is at the moment. And again, he leads Parham in second, who you would assume would take the lead if Prince does indeed have to pit here before the stage. Even if he doesn't, he's losing. He's getting that gap closed up pretty quick here. Keith Prince certainly not running nearly as fast as second place Justin Parham is right now. And if we look at, the lap time deltas, you can see it there. Lap 32 to lap 37. Look what it went from 6 seconds down to now just about 2 seconds. Actually, well under 2 seconds, I should say. So that delta has been slowly and steadily decreasing, and it's going to continue to go that way. See it now officially under a second here for Keith Prince trying to fend off Justin Parham. And man, Prince might actually have to consider playing some defense here because he's going to be coming to 1 lap to go in the stage next time. If he can make it, this could be one of the best calls we've seen of the race, because he would get himself a stage win, and then of course I assume he could go in and try to regroup with everybody on tires. But man, Parham's flying through 3 and 4. Keith Prince on the front stretch. He's going to have to find a way to hold him on 2 more corners. Just don't know if he's going to be able to do it here. And Prince is a playoff driver trying to make it to the round of 4, so stage points are very important, but he realizes just doesn't have the tire to do it. It was a valiant effort, and it's still going to pay off pretty well, as he will finish second in this stage, but he's not going to be able to hold it off from this man right here, Justin Parham in the 19 for Grandstand Racing. Multiple wins on the season. Continued to show that strength as we work through the playoffs. Easily advanced himself to the round of 8, and now he starts his way to advancing to the round of 4. He will take stage 1 at Chicagoland. Prince finishes second, and it's Grant Turner who rounds out the podium here for stage number 1. And so, actually, we should be seeing the caution any moment now. Give it a little longer here just in case, but I'm double checking here, and sure enough, yeah, there you go. I say, I know it was lap 40, so we'll see if they're just waiting for everybody to cross the line. And sure enough, that's exactly what it was. So for the driver out of Boiling Springs, South Carolina, he will take the stage. Now he'll catch the pace car to set up.
1 point.
It will be their second pit stop for night, full service, and then regroup for what will be a crazy and shorter stage number 2. Stick with us. We'll be right back here at Chicagoland.
Yeah. If I had probably 1 more lap, I'd have gotten Zach. And 2 laps, I'd have gotten Jay.
Simulators, and this was like very responsive. Especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point. Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Alright, Grant stayed out. Me and Herbert took fuel only.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We will run! We will run! Ladies and gentlemen, we got
The monkey is prime!
this season, we are hydrated.
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's on! Oh, that's good.
Green flag is in.
Sounds to be he's making a caution. I don't know why you don't just. I don't know why you don't just come get fuel at least.
Almost no trouble around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution.
Me and Herbert did fuel and we still came out 2-3. So Grant should have at least created for fuel.
Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it.
Anyway, I'll try not to be a sit duck for you, Justin.
Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway for the M&M Pet Sitting 145. Getting ready to go back green up front. It's Grant Turner and Sam Boutwell that'll lead us back to green after the under yellow pit stops. And then Jonathan Herbert, Justin Parham, your stage winner, by the way, and Justin Parham. Start back on row 2, and it's Jake Bustos currently rounding out your top 5. Again, stage 2 going to be a fair amount shorter than the distance that we went in stage 1. In fact, it's going to be exactly 31 laps to go here as we take the green flag for stage number 2, and it's a great jump for the 93 of Grant Turner. Remember, he had good speed, but got caught in dirty air for a little bit of time during that last stage.
You can clear up,
We'll
Justin.
not have to worry about that this time around. See him going to battle out back. 2x2, 3x3. Justin Parham, can he slot up in front of David Traylor? The answer is yes, he can. His teammate will cut him a break. And they are drag racing out back. Jake Bustos, man, he was trying to split the middle right there. David Traylor, he might get caught in the middle here from the 33 as Stevens get to his outside. Not quite, at least not that time. So David Traylor will be able to stay in a decent position here. And if you're David Traylor, I mean, you've already figured out that you've got pretty good long run speed even after that slip up. And, you know, assuming he doesn't make any mistakes here early in this stage, he may very well have a chance to go up here and fight for that lead spot before it's all said and done. Especially considering the fact that we look at him right now and he sits already in that 3rd position. Here's Sam Boutwell in the 47. I'll tell you what, it's so exciting to see how much speed everybody has on these short runs. And You know, I hate to say it because obviously most tracks the goal is to have as much green flag racing as possible, but I would almost kind of feel like I have to beg to argue that here at Chicagoland, with what I've seen so far, I would not be upset if we had a couple late race restarts, because we would see some chaos. Almost race like a super speedway with everybody having pretty much equal stuff. It would just be a matter of who could find a way to get back to the checkered flag first. But right now, it's all about fighting for the stage points up front. They start to single file out a little bit more. And out back, there's still plenty of 2x2 here. Keith Prince on the inside of Corey Buskirk in the 998. And then a couple rows behind them, the 29 of Matthew Fritz. He's side by side with his teammate here, Chase Greer. And one car that is a little bit off the pack right now, that's Joey Hickox. This is a track that I figured Joey would track that he would be pretty good at. I would at least think it's one that he would like, assuming that we know he likes Las Vegas and Texas. And of course, this is another mile and a half that runs, I would say, more similar to Las Vegas than it does Texas. But right now, you can certainly see that Joey's struggling a little bit here, and not having any draft on the straights is not really helping him catch up to that lead pack, at least not much. So we'll see if he's able to try maybe one more move here. Excuse me, one more push to get up to that lead pack before the tires start to wear out. And for Justin Parham, when he crosses the line this time, the 50 of 145 laps complete. That'll push us to now 26 laps to go here in the stage and pass for the lead. David Traylor is going to take a big swing to the inside on his teammate right here. Not quite able to get it that time as they both work up to the wall. Traylor is going to jump back to the inside here as Justin Parham decides to stay up top. For Justin Parham, slides up. David Traylor, at least right now, tires have not worn out enough for him to make that inside better. It's not any better than the outside lane that Justin Parham's got working right now. And you start to wonder if maybe Parham's just trying to save a little something. Oh, Zach Stevens, was this planned? Oh man, the 33 is in very early. I would almost have to think this was unplanned. For Zach Stevens, I mean, didn't think they'd have to make a pit stop. Yeah, because they made it at least 30 laps in that first stage. So I couldn't really tell you why Stevens decided to pit here. Maybe he had a reason, maybe he had some issue on the pit stop under yellow, or he got a penalty of sort. Not sure what the case was, but seeing he had to bring it down to pit speed, go down to the pits, and like he'll take some service here before he makes his way back out. There he goes. So that's going to hurt Zach Stevens big time. Falls a lap down. He's going to need a caution now. Get the lucky dog and get back on that lead lap. By the way, if you're just tuning in, we certainly appreciate you being here on a Saturday night, watching the NOMA boys go at it. Hope that everybody's enjoying their Saturday night. As there's the 54 of David Traylor still sitting second. We've got Sam Boutwell in third, Grant Turner hanging strong in fourth. And here we go. This is what I was talking about for Jonathan Herbert. Have to make something happen. Well, the best way to make something happen is to set yourself up for success through stage 1 and 2. Maybe not the best run through stage 1, not bad. But here in stage 2 now, he's come to life. Inside the top 5, up 6 positions from where he started this race at. Jonathan Herbert ripping that top right now. Keep an eye on the 87. If he can stay here for the rest of the stage, he could be in a very good position starting that final stage. One of Keith Prince going to take it back down to the bottom. He'll glue the white line through 3 and 4 the best he can. Chase Pinson on the high side, Bustos on the inside, no run there, and then further back, Chase Greer looked like may have just scraped the outside wall there off of 4 as he continues to race with his teammate Matthew Fritz. Justin Parham in the 19. We talked about a little bit earlier just how good of a season it's been, and so far it's, the playoffs have pretty much matched up to the season, no surprise there, but sometimes drivers can have a great season and all of a sudden you feel like the bad luck all hits you at once you get into the playoffs. But I mean, if you look at the season in retrospect for Parham, he wins the 3rd race of the season at Pocono, the Turkey Triangle, and then you have to look forward a little bit ahead of time, all the way until we move on to the playoffs, I believe it was, where he got his next win. He had, sure enough, the first race in the round of 16 at Texas, and we haven't seen him go back to victory lane since then. But certainly has still shown plenty of glimpses of speed. And the one, I guess, critique, if you will, that I feel like we've maybe had for the 19 over the last couple weeks that I feel like I'm noticing is just he's been struggling just a little bit when it comes to some of the speed, especially, I would say, on the long run, especially if he loses the lead, as we've had a brief issue here. We're going to go ahead and see if we can figure out exactly what has went wrong right here. The appears everybody has disappeared in session for now. So again, I apologize for this. We have just a brief delay. Yep. All right, so sure enough, we did have a quick drop of the server. It's not an issue on my end. This is an issue on iRacer's end, so we'll go ahead and get this booted back up for you here very quickly. Apologize, should just be about a 60-second to 2-minute delay at max. So again, apologies to everybody for that, but we appreciate you still hanging around here. Get this all set up, but as we went to break there, again, there was nothing really actually happening on track. So as we continue to work through here, get this set up, we'll just go ahead and take a quick 60-second break. We'll be right back with everything rebooted. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Chicagoland. Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway. Again, apologies for the brief delay. Had a server temporarily drop out. We're back. And it's 60 of 145 laps complete. Now 61 as they cross the line. And the only thing you missed, and I mean, I missed it too, but was this pass that we just saw for the lead. David Traylor, Justin Parham. This must have just happened a couple laps or so ago, maybe even that last lap. This Traylor, though, now they've taken the lead. They'll have fresh air, and with just, it'll be 9 laps to go on the stage when they cross the line this time. That may be prime position to try to take this thing home, at least for the stage break, that is. But then that final stage, he set himself up for success there as well, because you figure now he knows how much tire he needs to save to go up there and try to contest Justin Parham and a few others. And I do apologize, I said that the stage was 9 laps away, but the end of the stage 2 is actually on lap 75, and so that'll mean that we're still over 10 laps away from the stage break. Traylor, though, still looking very strong, but once he took that lead, it has not taken long.
I do not like a heat cycle
between himself and second place to almost a second. So as Parham continues to run the high side, a couple of them now.
I'm sliding all over the
closer to that outside wall. By the way, I know it's a little unrelated, but last season in the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series, remember they ran Kansas for the championship. Everybody remembers how good David Traylor was there. The reason I mention that is because Chicagoland, the way they're running right now on the wall, a little similar to Chicagoland. For Parham, just doesn't look like he's able to be as smooth as the 54 Traylor is right now, as close as they're running to the wall. Boy, I wish I could stress to you just how close that is. I mean, it looks like Traylor's trying to kind of use that top seam as some kind of guide to keep his left side tires there, but even then, it is still, I mean, let's see if we can actually give you a view of this. The right front camera to show you just how close it is. I mean, the camera's basically going through the wall. He's running so close to it. So as Traylor gets closer and closer, he's going to have to really, really hope that those Goodyear tires don't give out on him for any reason. As you see the 93, Grant Turner able to make a pass now on the 19 of Justin Parham. Jake Bustos is there as well, and he's not going to wait for one to get around the other. He's going to try to take them both at the same time. The 74, Jake Bustos looking to the inside here. Ooh, some slight contact there between Turner and Bustos down the front stretch. Grant Turner here, we'll see how willing he is to yield this position to the 74. Neither driver is in the playoffs. They're both just fighting for trophies here tonight. And it looks like Grant Turner going to slide in front of Parham, and in the process, he was able to let the 74 Bustos go. So it works out for both of them, but the big loser in that scenario was Justin Parham. Again, lost 2 positions there just a set of corners. For Jonathan Herbert, now back to 9th after hanging pretty tough early in the stage. Joey Hickox is up to 10th. Sam Boutwell back in 11th, and then Corey Busberg 12th with Zach Stevens still in 13th and a lap down after making that what again we believe was an unscheduled pit stop very early in this stage. Now granted, I do want to mention that based off when they went back green was, again, they went back green around 45, so it should have still been at a 30-lap stage. So fuel not a concern, at least not at the moment. It's just going to be all about David Traylor. Can he get back here without issue or without there being a caution that could rack things up and give the field another chance at a restart? Pick your favorite driver in the field who you got here tonight. We put out a poll about if we'd see a first-time winner here tonight, and it's like, I don't know if we got any votes on it. One of the things I was going to check. Sure enough, we didn't. So we'll take it down for now, but I'm thinking that the answer is going to be probably not. Most of the field made up of drivers that are in the playoffs, many of which have already won this season, but who knows? Jake Bustos could be looking to go to victory lane for the first time this season. You think to Keith Prince, Grant Turner, Matthew Fritz, all drivers with the opportunity here to find victory lane for the first time tonight. David Traylor does continue to lead. Jake Bustos, got a part-time start kind of driver this season, hasn't had the opportunity to run full-time. The driver out of Flossmoor, Illinois, whenever he is here, he's always been really, really fast. It's never really been a question of if, it's just whenever he's here. And when he's been here, he's been able to have really good speed. It's just about any kind of track we've been to. And no different here tonight at Chicagoland. Keeps it in the second spot at the moment. That is where he qualified as well, so no gain or loss in terms of where he started the race at. And you've got Justin Parham in the 19 for Grandstand Racing. This is what I talked about, though. And these next 5 laps or so are going to be a test here for Justin Parham, because he's got a couple other hungry drivers here that are still in the picture. Now, we'll say Grant Turner got by the 19, but then lost the position back. The point I'm trying to make, though, here, Keith Prince, as he goes around for Parham, talked about that when he loses the lead, that's when he has struggled so much this season. He's qualified great every race. He's been able to lead a lot of laps early. And once he loses that lead and gets himself slightly buried in traffic, it just seems like the 19 has not been able to find his way back forward at that point. So if you're Parham here, you're looking to try to change that trend around here tonight. So he's going to go see if he can pick up a few spots here before we get to the stage. Matthew Fritz down 4 positions where he started the race at. He qualified as your pole sitter. And oh, did I hear a pit stop further back? I did. Grant Turner in the 93. Wow. This is a little bit of an interesting call here. You wouldn't think it has anything to do with fuel. I wonder if he felt like the handling of this truck was just falling off too much for his liking. Maybe he's going to go into pit here, get what he can for fuel and tires, and then try to just save them until we get to the stage break so that he can flip track position. That would be my guess, unless, of course, similar to what we saw for Stevens, there's a different issue, because the problem with this, well, I guess it depended on what he was going to take, but he's going to lose a lap, I think. It'll be close, but yeah, Grant Turner will lose a lap. So, man, 93 having to go in right there costs him a lap. Now he's just going to hope that he can stay in front of the 33 of Stevens. Stevens is saying, what the heck, man, what gives? Why'd you have to pit? Now you're going to put me in a bad spot where I may not be able to get my lap back. Jake Bustos, boy, when he got up to Traylor, he just took that lead away. It did not take him any time at all. David Traylor, who had made such a good gap for himself, has just lost it now. Completely disintegrated. And for Jake Bustos, he is now just 3 laps away here, gathering the Stage 2 win. And again, in terms of points, for the 74, the stage win itself doesn't mean anything, but he'll get himself good track position. A little boost of confidence as well. Set him up for that 3rd and final stage, which will be the longest one of them all so far. It'll be exactly twice the distance that we ran in stage 1, most likely, when we go back green. So here comes Bustos rocketing off of turn 4. He will see the white flag here in stage number 2. Just one more time around, 2 good sets of corners here just to make sure he can hold off David Traylor. Seems like he's got the speed to do it so far. The real battle is going to be the battle for the final podium position here in the stage. Matthew Fritz, Justin Parham trying to creep up here. See if they have a chance here to potentially make a move on Prince, but it doesn't look like it. Not going to happen there. Back up front, Jake Bustos works his way off of turn 4. Still has over a half a second gap. More than enough to work with right now, as the 74 will see 1 lap to go. And yeah, I just realized I said last lap was a white flag in the stage, but it's actually this one. So I apologize about that. Jake Bustos, this is the white flag lap in the stage. Caution will be thrown at the end, technically the start of the next lap. So for Bustos here, still though plenty of gap to work with on David Traylor. Traylor looked very good through the middle portion of the run. But what we figured out is that whoever saved the most tire has the most speed when it matters most. Here comes Jake Bustos off turn 4. Good speed at the end. And he will take stage 2 here at Chicagoland. The trailer again brings home second in the stage. It looks like Keith Prince is going to be able to fend off that little trio he was dueling with. So he will hold on to that last podium position here in the stage. Alright, so as the caution will be thrown as they work through 3 and 4. So set us up. There is the caution. So this will set us up now for that final stage after everybody comes in to take fuel and tires. So we'll let them do that when we get back. If we have time, we'll try to get a quick word with your stage winner, Jake Bustos. Stick with us here at Chicagoland.
simulators, and this was like very responsive. Especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point. Make you feel like you really drive, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
Ladies and gentlemen, this season we
I was 47-61.
of the UFC. It's time. Oh, that's good.
5 to go in stage 1. Yes.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
Granted, I also use my right front more.
3 by 3. Almost no trouble around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to
Drive off the rear and set him off my right rear.
Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway as we get ready for the final stage here in the M&M Pet Sitting 145. And by the way, your stage 2 winner was the 74 of Jake Bustos. Pit stops are complete, so as they get ready to get lined back up here, see if we can get a quick word if Bustos is hanging around on any of the discords. And it looks like he is not, so I will retract that statement. Looks like we will not get a chance to hear from Jake Bustos right now. So they'll line up, get back to the 2x2 formation. And you see in the chat there, Grant Turner letting us know that 93 messed up knowing the length of the stage, which is why we may have seen that unscheduled pit stop from him. And I'm looking here at some of the data. 80
Well, me
of
and my 3 sets of
145.
tires
I'm
in the
trying to
pits
figure
are
out fuel
ready.
mileage for these guys right now. You figure it's going to be 65 laps to go exact.
I'll take them.
When they take the green right here, if you can make it, it's going
I'll
to be
take them
close to
every
a
10
one-stop,
laps
I
if
have a
I got
feeling.
to.
I think it should be doable, though, at least from the distance that we saw some of the drivers go in stage 1, which I think was all the way to potentially right around 35, 36, which, of course, should be able to get you to that mark that you're trying to hit. So I would say that, and I mean, really, you figure, if you think about it, you only got to make it about, 32, 33 laps here on each tank in order to make it to the finish. So we'll see if that's a possibility here. And for that to be the case, they're going to have to try to make it to right around lap 115, maybe a little shorter, right around lap 112, 113, I would say, before they make that pit stop in order to make it on just one stop. All right, here we go. Pace car going to make the left turn. And the trailer will lead them back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. The final stage at Chicagoland is underway. It's a good restart for the 54 David trailer. He's going to lead them all off down into turn number 1. And again, we've seen a lot of aggressive restarts so far here tonight, but I think they're going to get more and more aggressive each one we have, especially since this is the last guaranteed one. Remember, we did not have a single caution for incident in stage 1 or 2, but look at this, they actually all sorted it out pretty quickly. Keith Prince was able to rock it around the 19 of Justin Parham. And further back now, they start to get pumped back up and a little bit more racy. 87 of Herbert slamming the door there on Corey Buskirk down the front stretch. Can he slide back up in front of the 93 of Turner? Well, even if he could, he looks like he's going to choose to not to for now. There's the 87 of Herbert here, starting to slowly slide up the racetrack. Man, that got really, really close. The 998 of Corey Buskirk's going to go to the inside now after Grant Turner stood up. There's the 8 of Chase Greer.
Probably going to put the 3 by Justin.
I mean, obviously, I think the general idea is if everybody's full throttle on any part of the racetrack when the tires are fresh, you want to be on the bottom. But at the same time, you want to try to get clean air so that you don't have to use or rely rather as much on those tires, which is what's going to wear them out quicker. But Keith Prince looks like he decided to go with the Hail Mary strategy here of just sending it on these fresh tires. He's not worried about saving it all, at least not right now. And the one truck is quickly moved inside the top 3, and he wants more here. Can he get around 74 Bustos? And I think if you're Jake right here, just let him go. You can probably tell that how aggressive he was trying to get to everybody else, that he's trying to use these tires while he's got them. Battling here wouldn't do the 74 much good, but certainly could do the 54 some favors. As if David Trailer was able to start.
I'm gonna go see if I can get him and slow him down for you.
Got too racy. Obviously, that would be an advantage for the 54, but it's not going to happen because Keith Prince was able to get clear of the 74. Now he's side by side with Trailer for the lead. See if David lets him go, lets him have it here. Looks like he does.
I'm racing for a team championship.
So that moves Keith Prince now officially up to the lead position and up 9 from where he started this race at. Keith Prince is one of the playoff drivers. You see him highlighted in white. So a win could do a lot of good favors for him if he can hold on. Long ways to go and still at least one pit stop in the equation. You see the 74 Bustos now on the inside of Stinson and Joey Hickox. These two of the Venom Racing teammates trying to work together on the outside. Another track that I believe Jay Stinson is a fan of. So for Jay here, he's kind of another driver similar to Trailer in the sense of seems to get closer and closer to the front as the race goes on. I don't know if it's the stage breaks or just naturally starts to figure it out as the race goes on, but either way, for Jay Stinson, now he is up to up to third, which is up 3 positions from where he started this race at. Joey Hickox is going to slide up into the 4th spot now as Bustos continues to fade for the moment. That is all byproduct of the 74, just continuing to save tire. Everybody saw him do it through that first stage. I'm surprised that nobody's kind of trying to do it. They saw him do it in the 2nd stage. I'm surprised nobody's trying to do it here in the 3rd stage the way he did. That 74 was a rocket ship at the end of a long run by saving as much as he did. Sam Boutwell caught in the middle right there. That was almost a close call. Looks like he was able to save it. There's that 2x2 kind of draft train. That single file on the outside. Bustos Parham, the 2 on the inside, trying to get by them all, but draft train is certainly carrying a lot of momentum down the straight. As you see Boutwell, he's going to tuck on the right quarter panel Jake Buster to see if he can pull him back just a little bit. Looks like, sure enough, he's able to do that. And now Sam Boutwell, he'll pick up a spot on the 74. That'll move him up to the 7th spot. So the battle continues here towards the back as up front, single file, Keith Prince trying to create some distance between himself and David Traylor. It's going to be hard to do at that draft, given so much of a pull to the 54, but Traylor continues to go all the way to the bottom down the front stretch. Keith Prince decides to go to the bottom of the track, but not necessarily below the apron. So for Traylor up top here, watch out. 54 truck is trying to generate a big run. He's going to get it on one of these corners here. It's just a matter of time for Keith Prince before his tires start to fade out. And when they do, got to think that David Traylor is going to be there to pounce starting to now try to work back up to the wall. Remember, that's kind of the line he had been running there for quite a while that was working out for him. And obviously the idea is that you don't want to just go from being on the bottom to straight up on the wall. You got to kind of work your way up there, push that truck a little bit more and more each lap to see just how much you can push it. Where you obviously don't want to go any further. You'll cross that line, maybe accidentally wreck the truck. Certainly, this third lane or the outside, whatever you want to call it, has been interesting here tonight. I didn't know we'd see drivers run that high here at Chicagoland, but certainly have. And for the ones that have been doing it, I feel like it's been working out pretty well. The higher you run, the more speed you get. It's been the general idea here. 91 of 145 laps now complete. I do want to hop over here and show you what the remaining NOMA Truck Series schedule is looking like. So here we go. Next week will be the second race in the round of 16, which will be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That one will be, I believe, 155 laps. Yeah, sure enough. And then after that, it's on to Homestead Miami Speedway for what will be the elimination race in the round of 8. That'll be 135 laps. And then we head over
outside, Justin.
to Old Atlanta for the Championship 4 race, which will be 150 laps at one of the slickest tracks and pretty much on the entire season schedule that we've got here in NOMA. So that's how it's setting up, at least in terms of the schedule. The other thing, though, to keep an eye on is what are point standings currently looking like at the moment. I mean, we're in the playoffs, so you already know who the round of 8 are. The bigger question, I assume, would be, how does it currently stand for the drivers that are trying to make it to the round of 4? What kind of playoffs did they have? What playoff points do they have, I should say? Well, here's what it's looking like. Coming into the round, Justin Parham led them in after that cutoff. Looks like they've not updated it any further since then, so we'll actually have to just keep it to the round of 8 right now. The drivers that we know are in. Some I think might be a little better than others unless it were to just fully reset. As here we go, battle for the lead is back on. We knew this was going to happen, though. David Traylor let Keith Prince go, and just like a fish, starts to reel him back in. So David Traylor, now that he's taking the lead, we'll wonder if he'll start to pull away now. So it's 94 of 145 laps complete. They come around next time. Okay, 95 of 145, and that'll put us at exactly 51 laps to go. So for David Traylor here, now that he's gotten back around Keith Prince, really now all he's thinking about is when he's going to make this pit stop at. And the goal is to try to make it to right around at least 112 in order to make it all the way to the finish. Actually, 112, that might be a little bit further than you necessarily need to go. I mean, you figure, well, I guess not. I believe that's still about right, because we said that they'd probably make it 32 to 33. But yeah, right around 112 is when I would think you got to try to, or that number rather, that you need to try to make it to for this final pit stop if you're indeed going to make it a 1. So as David Traylor continues to lead, we're going to go ahead and take another quick break. We'll be back, and when we do, we'll be right around the corner from pit stops. Stick with us here at Chicagoland.
only sports drink in history.
This season, we are unrated the official sports drink of the UFC. It's
Green flag is in here. We are ready. 3x3. Trouble around goes Alex Hill. Arm into the outside, one goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to go caution. The finish. Who gets in the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the M&M Pet Sitting 145 for the NOMA Truck Series here in the first race of the round of 8 at Chicagoland Speedway. You saw it while we were on break. No big changes up front. David Trailer continues to lead the way. We're now 102 of 145 laps complete. He's at pit stops. And the next thing on the horizon to talk about is we're expecting it at around 10 to 12 laps from now, I would say, at least the minimum distance, I should say, that you're going to have to go to make it. So for David Trailer, he's in good position to just keep going until we get to that point. A little bit further back here, we still have some battling going on the inside. That's the 74, Jake Bustos. Then you've got Jay Stinson, Justin Parham trying to make something happen here. And Parham battling with Stinson right now. We'll see if the 19 decides to make a dive here down into turn 3. Doesn't look like it. I wonder if Parham's maybe just a little bit better than Stinson right now. It certainly looks like he is, but right there, saw the back end start to wiggle just a little bit, just enough, I should say, for that to not quite work out for him. So now, Justin Parham's going to try it again. Here through 1 and 2, but he'll go a little bit lower this time. The 19 starts to slide up. Just too much momentum on the outside here to actually complete the pass. All he's trying to do, though, is grab a side draft off the quarter panel down the straightaway. The answer is he's not going to be able to make it happen that time either. Matthew Fritz back in 6th. Joey Hickox is in 7th. Those two, nothing really battling right now, but like there was, I don't know if that was a lap car that they were battling with right there. As it might have been Zach Stevens. Yeah, sure enough it was, so not for position. You've got Grant Turner over here in the 8th spot. He's down 4th from where he started, had good speed earlier, but he struggled a little bit after getting buried. And here's the 8 of Chase Greer. Trying to get to the outside. Watch out. This is going to get tight. Greer gets into the wall. So much for that move working out. He'll lose some momentum here as Jonathan Herbert will take advantage of Chase Greer's mistake and create a little bit of separation between himself and the 8. So
I feel like Grant's about to wreck any lap. He cannot get off the 2 to save his life.
The field in total is only separated by about half the track length, so lap traffic isn't in the question as of yet. It's just more so that everybody's separated from each other, so any real chance of a caution starts to really go down quickly. There's Joey Hickox, and 33 of Stevens is going to go by his Venom Racing teammate. Well, that's not for position. Stevens trying to get up there to see if he can get this lap back the hard way after Grant Turner had to go in. Grant Turner was able to get the lucky dog again to stage 2, but unfortunately for Stevens, that trapped him a lap down. That's why he is where he currently is right now. And then for David Trailer, again, 107 of 145 laps complete. He has stretched this lead out to almost 2 seconds. Now, I wouldn't say let's get too excited about this just yet, simply because running right behind him is the 74 of Jake Bustos. And let's show you this time delta here and see if it looks like Bustos has been catching David Trailer at all. Compare Trailer to Bustos, and so here's what it's been looking like. Bustos in 2nd. Has been closing that gap down here. He continues to do it very slowly. See that kind of shape, a very, very smooth, but a very, very minute, I guess would be the word for it, time delta that he's been kind of decreasing each and each lap between himself and David Traylor. The point is he's making up ground. It's slow, but he is making up ground. So we would expect, if he keeps making up ground, that he'll get there at some point. But at least for now, David Traylor continues to be in full control of this race. He gets around this next time, it'll be 110 laps complete. We're getting really, really close to that window. And again, Traylor was the earliest truck to pit in that first stage. He pit, I believe, right on 30 laps from when they went back to green flag racing. And if you remember when we went back to green flag racing here tonight, or excuse me, here in this final stage tonight, it was right on lap 80. So we are pretty much right at 30 laps from when we went back to green flag racing, but you got to make it a couple laps more than that in order to set yourself up to make it all the way to the finish. Jay Stinson still holding off the 19 of Justin Parham. Parham has just continued to try to work to the bottom of this 2 truck, but has just not had any luck, at least not yet. And at some point here, for Justin Parham, he's going to have to try something a little different, whether that's try to get to his outside down the straight and then get him on the next corner, or he's going to have to try some sort of slide job. I don't know, but it's just not working. And the longer you battle like this, all you're doing is wearing your stuff out and making it harder to gain that track position as the run goes on. So here comes David Traylor off of turn 2. He crosses the line this next time, at least in my books. That is when I think that fuel window safely opens to make it to the finish, because you're getting to right around that halfway point here in the final stage. And what I think you do is, I think if you can go farther, especially if you're David Traylor, obviously you run this thing as far as you can. You've got, you know, a 1.5 second lead on Bustos. I know he's closing, but I don't think he's closing quick enough that you need to try to pit early.
Pitting in here.
Because you want to be the guy on offense at the end. You don't want to have to be playing defense, especially if you've got a truck that's much faster than you. So, and I know Bustos, like I said, he's closing right now and started to increase how quickly he's decreasing that time delta. As again, just about 5 laps ago it was 2.2. He's now got it down past 1.8. But here we go. All right, so David Traylor's going to pit. Wow. Boy, didn't see that one coming. David Traylor, he brings it in right at the start of the window. And the reason I said I didn't see that coming is I knew the window just opened, but
back it up.
man, I really thought if you were Traylor, you should have ran this thing out. He could have played offense the entire last run, but now by doing this, he's going to have fresher tires here early, but at the end, man, Jake Bustos, he's going to have a big advantage in terms of tire wear. So let's see if the 74 decides to come in this time or if he decides to run one more. Bustos rocking it through 3 and 4s. He start to blow up? Yes, he does. Jake Bustos is indeed going to come down right here. And that will only allow David Traylor to get pretty much a 1-lap advantage on those fresher tires. So maybe the strategy won't work out too bad now for David Traylor. And the other question that you're going to be asking yourself here is, where does that 74 come out in regards to where the 54 came out? So here's Traylor still trying to get back up to speed. Bustos is just now in his pit box. Again, if you're Jake here, you're going to have to take 4 tires and fuel. Meanwhile, Justin Parham in the 19 also decided to bring it down to the pits this time. And so here comes David Traylor. You see him right here, just getting ready to work off turn 4. There he goes. And Jake Bustos with that second pit stop, just now leaving as well. Oh boy, this is going to be really, really close. Bustos did a nice job in the pits. I don't think he's going to be able to quite stay in front of Traylor here. Traylor with a full head of steam is going to march right by as the 74 still trying to get up to speed on the apron. So Traylor will take that lead. Now it's a matter of how far back is Bustos going to be from Traylor once he gets back up to full speed. Jake does have fresher tires, so at the end he'll get in that little bit of an extra advantage on top of whatever he can make up from saving tire. Grant Turner decides to stay out on the racetrack. It's just about everybody else making their stops now. Sal Fritz in, Jay Stinson's in, Keith Prince, Jonathan Herbert, Zach Stevens. Everybody getting their final round of pit stops in here to set up for what is going to be a sprint to the finish here on this set of tires. Well, maybe not a sprint, but certainly not a super duper long run at about 30 laps or so. So the 93 of Grant Turner, he'll pull it into his pit box and bring it to a halt. David Traylor, who sits in second right now, is currently about 12 seconds behind. How quickly he'll return that. Yeah, there he goes. So here we go. Now we can finally start to set the stage. Bustos versus Traylor. Jake Bustos is 2.4 seconds back. He's got a lap fresher tires than David Traylor, and from what we've seen so far, now again, Traylor could make an adjustment this run so that this isn't the case. But what we've seen so far on the 2 or 3 previous runs is that Jake Bustos has been able to save more tire and therefore has been faster just naturally in the longer run than David Traylor. So we're wondering if that kind of just being faster in the end naturally, along with the extra lap of tire advantage, will be enough here for Jake Bustos to go up here and track down this 54 truck. Other thing right now that's kind of going against Bustos, if you will, is that he is not catching any draft off of David Traylor. So by not having any draft right now, and it is interesting, you hear Bustos lifting a little bit there on entry. I want to listen to his turn 1 and 2 here, and then we'll go up and compare that to David Traylor to see if Traylor's doing the same, or if Traylor's giving it full gas right now. Here we go, listen to Bustos, listen to the throttle here as he gets in 1. He lets out of it. Okay, so there you go, and he also let out a bit in 3 and 4. Let's see what David Traylor does. He's up here in the lead. Does he do the same, or does he try to stay in the throttle the whole way? As he gets down the corner, he does let out of the throttle. I don't know if he lets all the way out, but he certainly does let out of it. So that gap has not changed too much, at least not over the course of these last few laps. Wish Justin Parham in 3rd, was able to jump Stinson finally. Pit stop helping him out as well. Matthew Fritz is in 5th, with Keith Brent 6th, Joey Hickok 7th. And you've got Sam Batlow in 8th, Grant Turner 9th, and Chase Greer currently rounding out your top 10.
I don't know what happened to Zach, but he's a lap down.
As David Traylor crosses the line this time, we'll officially hit the lap 120 marker.
I thought he got it back.
That'll put us with exactly 26 laps to go. And the M&M Pet Sitting 145. If you're just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. You've been tuning in all night. We appreciate you sticking around, drivers and fans included. So next time Traylor crosses the line, you will see that magic number. 25 laps to go. That's where, as a driver, you really start to dial it in. Start to try to get in that zone. 25 to go is not a long way here at Chicagoland. And you know, I've been liking this time Delta box here tonight. We'll pull up 2 things for you, though, about the lap time first. I'll show you David Traylor compared to Jake Bustos these last couple laps. Well, here's what you got. David Traylor has been faster 3 out of the last 5 laps. Bustos has been faster 2 out of the last 5 laps. And if we look at that actual last lap, looks like Traylor was faster yet again. So at least for the moment, they just kind of continue to trade. And trading may not be enough for Jake Bustos to catch up. It's going to be an interesting setup for the finish. We're going to go ahead and take one final break. Go side by side so you don't miss a thing. And when we come back, we will have the finish of the M&M Pet Sitting 145 at Chicagoland. Stick with us here on PGR Esports.
official sports drink of the UFC. It's green flag is in the air. We are ready.
back to Chicagoland Speedway as we're closing in of tonight's action here in the M&M Pet Sitting 145. Up front, still David Traylor. We're still keeping an eye on that time gap right now between him and Jake Bustos. The lead is 2.3, almost 2.4 seconds for Traylor, but Bustos has proven so far tonight that he really starts to dig into that gap as we get towards the end of a run. So it'll be 17 laps to go, and I just start to wonder, though, is that enough time for Bustos to get back up here? You figure if it would have been 20 laps to go with the gap he had, he would have needed to start making up almost 2 to 3 tenths of a second per lap. Now it's even more than that. So I just don't know, again, 17 laps to go, if he's going to have enough to get there, even if he starts to be faster. But picked it up a little bit here. And don't forget that when he does get within probably about a second and a half or so, I would say, that's when he starts to actually catch a draft off the 54 trailer. And once he gets in that draft,
Joey's doing the hardcore blocking on Grant Turner.
Bustos right now very smooth and getting to the white line. On the bottom of the
gravity all the way down to the apron on the backstretch.
David Traylor still able to keep his truck on the bottom for now. Now, if we were to get a late caution, boy, it would turn the strategy for both of these two on its lid.
Right,
the rest of the field, though, here, Justin Parham by himself in third. He's being chased right now by Matthew Fritz, who sits in fourth. Those two separated by about 0.8 of a second. And you've got Jay Stinson, who currently sits back in fifth. Keith Brinch chasing him in fifth, about 0.3 seconds separating those two. And it's Grant Turner back in the, Grant Turner in seventh. Joey Hickox in eighth. You saw the 33 at Stevens there getting out for position, separating those two. And it's Sam Batwell back in ninth with Chase Greer currently rounding out your top 10. Corey Buskirk back in 11th. Zach Stevens is in 12th. Jonathan Herbert, not the night he was wanting right here, sitting in 13th, a lap down. Showed some fire in the middle portions of this race in stage 2, but since then it's just not really gone the way to 87. And Herbert is going to need a miracle here, otherwise he may be trapped a lap down and finishing that spot here tonight. And it's not good news for him because, again, we talked about to advance to that round of 4, you've got to be consistent through all 3 races. You can no longer afford to have a bad race. For Herbert, that would count for him here tonight. And, you know, I think realistically, I know a lot of things can change, but overall I think that you got to kind of assume that overall you probably first off expect to see Traylor and Parham in the Final Four just because of, you know, how good they've been this season. Both drivers, multiple wins, of course. And then you figure you've got, you know, a few of the Venom Racing drivers in there, and any of those could be favorites to get in, whether it was Joey, Jay, Matthew Fritz, Chase Greer. And then that leaves out really the odd man out, if you will, 2 odd men out. That's Keith Prince and Jonathan Herbert. Prince, though, with a strong showing, they're getting some stage points in stage 1. And so setting up here for at least Prince to be a 6th place finish, potentially a little better if he could find a way around Stinson. Might still be in position to have a shot at the round of 4. As for tonight, though, David Traylor, it is now just 12 laps remaining here at Chicagoland, mile and a half that was taken off the schedule in real-life NASCAR. I don't know if they eventually tore it down or decided to keep it up, but I'll tell you what, we've seen the kind of racing this track can provide on restarts, and really until I would argue that the tires start to wear out the kind of racing it can provide. I'm surprised to see it go away in real life, but certainly glad to see it still in the sim and still run, and I think the trucks are one of the best series to run around here. David Traylor has shown that he has been the master of the short to middle run, but it's been this guy here who, at least tonight, has proven to potentially be the best in the long run. And I'm telling you, this is going to get really, really interesting here because Jake Bustos is not giving up on closing that gap. You look at it right now, and as a matter of fact, let's see if we can go to a bit of a different angle. There you go. You look out the windshield, he can see David Traylor up there, but he knows that he has to remain patient. The gap right now is 1.7 seconds. Still, I don't know if he's at enough of a pace to get there, but what I can tell you is that it is certainly going to be close. Here we go. Got it for David Traylor versus Jake Bustos. So here you go. Just about 5 laps ago, that's what the gap was versus what it is now. For Bustos, looks like it's 1.7 from 2.2. That's significant. It's half a second. It's, again, not really closed up anymore, though, after he got to that point. That's the problem part of it. Track temp did indeed cool off a little bit more from what we started this race at, as it's now almost 4:30 sim time. Track temp down to 80 degrees. So will that one lap of fresher tires somehow be enough here for Jake Bustos to get up and get to David Traylor with just 9, now 8.5 laps to go. David Traylor, the 54s, he'll send it off into turn number 3. Multi-win season for the 54, and it will continue here tonight if he can get the job done. And as a matter of fact, to top off the multi-win season, of course, in the regular season, how about what he's done in the playoffs? So far, he's got a win in the round of 16. And if he gets it done tonight, that'll add a win to the round of 8. And just before this, he had won the previous 2 races. That would make it 3 in a row. And it would make it 4 out of the last 5. The only one he didn't win was Texas, which was taken by his Grandstand Racing teammate, Justin Parham. So it wouldn't only be a win here tonight for Traylor, it would also be a win for Grandstand Racing in general, as they continue to try to stretch their team championship lead over Venom Racing. Justin Parham ripping the wall, still hanging around that 3rd spot for now, but he is under fire from the 29 of Matthew Fritz. This could be to determine that final podium position. Fritz is on the inside. That's going to be a really, really tough line to make work for Matthew Fritz, but he's going to stick to it for now. Justin Parham still up top. You see the 2 of Jay Stinson further back. Can he close in on these 2 and maybe make a move himself to try to steal one of those podium spots? It'll be 6 laps to go now for David Traylor as he crosses the line. These guys, by the way, about just over 7 seconds back from the leaders, so they're not really in any position that they're going to go up there and actually catch up to the leaders. It's more so just in position to try to fight for this final podium spot, which, I mean, when it's 3 playoff drivers fighting for it, that's a pretty big deal, because that determines potentially a final position or a final driver that actually is able to transfer into the final round. So just 6 laps to go now. It'll be 5 now as they cross the line. Handful left, and really the flag that Traylor wants to see more than anything right now is just the white flag. Make this race be official so that he does not have to worry about anything potentially getting in his way in an overtime or late race restart. Traylor is catching somebody here. It's one of the lap cars, and it's going to actually help him out a little bit because he got a little bit of a pull down the straight. And so now 1.5 seconds. Again, Bustos continues to close, but unfortunately for any Jake Bustos fans, he's just not quite closing it quick enough. 4 laps to go, 3 to make it official. And as he puts Corey Buskirk another lap down, I guess that would be his first lap down. There should be no more lap traffic in sight from this point forward. Yeah, you can see the next closest car is the 12th place running machine, Zach Stevens, who is going into turn 3. So Traylor, again, will not have to worry about that right now. Actually, I'd say he was going into turn 3 as Traylor was, so let me say it this way. He's crossing the line as Traylor is just now exiting 4. So now it's just 3 laps to go. Jake Bustos, okay, he's within drafting range now. This could help him out a little bit, but man, he's really got to dig deep here to find something this next lap or 2. Bustos, he's got to get it probably with under a second at least. Just this lap, I was thinking, and it's just not happening for him. Still hanging around 1.4 seconds. I think maybe, arguably, could try to argue at least that if we had another 10, 15 laps, maybe not even that much, maybe about 10 laps, maybe Bustos gets there, but besides that, I don't know what else he really could do. He's better off with turn 4, but 1 and 2, at least the last time. Really anything to gain on David Traylor. 2 laps to go now. That means final lap for a caution here, if we're going to get one. David Traylor going to be feeling like he's trying to run the fastest lap he's ran all race right here.
Transplant through the infield, no caution.
To see, like he's been waiting to see all night, the 1-to-go signal. So here we go as he'll work his way off of turn 4 through the Geico restart zone. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go here at Chicagoland. Just in time, too. Grant Turner went off track, tagged the inside wall down the backstretch, but it didn't bring out a caution. Now that the white flag is out, it won't bring out a caution. David Traylor off of turn 2, still with a good lead over second place Bustos, who sits 1.2 seconds behind. Bustos tried, but it's not going to be enough. David Traylor, as he works his way into 3 and 4 for the final time, he'll tack on another win. It'll be the first one in the round of 8, and his chances of going for a championship 4 appearance are that much better. He wins it at Chicagoland. Bustos finishes in 2nd, and it's Justin Parham for Grandstand Racing finishes in 3rd. brings it around to celebrate in front of the virtual grandstands. Take a look at your finishing results here tonight. David Traylor again is your race winner. Jake Bustos finishes in second. Justin Parham back in third with Matthew Fritz in fourth. Jay Stinson fifth with Keith Prince in sixth. Joey Hickok seventh with Grant Turner in eighth. Sam Boutwell ninth and Chase Greer rounding out your top 10. Corey Buskirk finishes in 11th. Zach Stevens back in 12th. And it's Jonathan Herbert rounding out the field tonight. He finishes in 13th. David Traylor, he's been getting used to winning a lot, so you don't see as much emotion when he gets the job done now. But saw a fist pump on that one because, like I said, he knows the value of this one. Takes him pretty much into a guaranteed spot to make it